Where did it come from? What's the source of the virus? Bats, minks, pangolins, frozen meat, a wet market, a biolab, or is it just some sort of divine punishment? We still don't know. 18 months, 3.7 million deaths, and all we have are claims, counterclaims, conjecture, and theories. One of them is gaining steam, by the way. The lab leak theory. It was initially dismissed as nonsense. We started reporting it from the 4th of February 2020. And since then, we've broadcast more than 100 reports on this. Our reports were dismissed as conspiracy theories. Our interviews were labeled fake news. We faced warnings, bans, and boycotts. China blocked our broadcasts. But we stood by our stories. We stand by them because journalism is not just about stating what's obvious. It's about reading between the lines, joining the dots, raising uncomfortable questions, and putting facts over political convenience. So we kept asking the question on the origin of the virus and a potential link to the lab. And now all of a sudden, everyone is talking about the lab theory. Why now? Do we have more evidence now? Were we distracted by the mess created by China, or were we just waiting for Donald Trump to go? It's important to ask these questions because if we're really victims of an unethical lab experiment or some sort of a bio war, we must ask, what took us so long to realize this? Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. US President Joe Biden has a newfound interest in an old theory, the same theory that his party once dismissed. Now they say a lab leak could be a possibility and the entire world is taking it seriously. On the 14th of May, a group of 18 American scientists published a letter in the journal Science. They said a new investigation is needed because the theories of an accidental lab release and a zoonotic spillover still remain viable. Then on May 26th, Joe Biden tasked the US intelligence community to take things forward and trace the source. Was it an infected animal or a lab accident? The White House statement said they did not have sufficient evidence to assess. So what do we know about the lab theory? We know there's a lab in China, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. It's a high-security biosafety lab run by the state-owned Chinese Academy of Sciences. This lab is the largest virus bank in Asia. It has at least 1,500 strains of deadly viruses. This is where it's located, just 5.5 kilometers away from the Huanan seafood market, which was identified as ground zero for the Wuhan virus. Now, this lab has a long history of shady experiments. In 2005, it published a research on the origin of SARS coronavirus, the one that causes SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. The paper said that China's horseshoe bats were natural reservoirs of this virus. They began sampling these bats across China. In 2012, the lab received samples from an abandoned mine deep in China's southwest Yunnan province, where miners shoveling bat feces had died of a mysterious pneumonia. The fecal swabs were studied. The virus discovered was named RAT-G13. In 2014, America entered the picture. Scientists from the University of North Carolina collaborated with the Wuhan Institute of Virology. They were trying to artificially mutate this virus through gain-of-function research. Gain-of-function is basically a field of research where dangerous variants and versions of a virus are created. What for? To predict emerging infectious diseases and to figure out ways to tackle them. So China and the US were doing this research together in 2014. America later suspended it, but unofficially, the US kept paying the lab. How? The same year, 2014, America's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, headed by Dr. Anthony Fauci himself, awarded a $3.4 million grant. This was to a New York-based health firm called EcoHealth Alliance. This firm paid the Wuhan lab $598,500 over 5 years to study bat coronaviruses. Do you see the link? Was this American money used for gain-of-function research? The Republicans say it was. They point at an April 2020 email from this health firm's president, Peter Daszak, to Dr. Anthony Fauci. In this email, he thanks Fauci for rejecting the lab leak theory and for stating that scientific evidence supports a natural origin.
Don't support sending money to the Wuhan Virology Institute.
We do not send money now to Wuhan Virology Institute.
If you think this is bizarre, wait till you hear more. In 2014, Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States, warned that America must be ready because who knows if 5 years from now a new virus like the Spanish flu pops up. Watch this.
There may and likely will come a time in which we have both an airborne disease that is deadly. So that if and when a new strain of flu like the Spanish flu crops up 5 years from now or a decade from now, we've made the investment.
What will you call it? Coincidence? Farsightedness? Or did America have an inkling of what was cooking in China? I leave it to your imagination.